Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Rezha Andriansyah. I am student of English Education Department from Kuningan University. So in this occasion, I would like to share my understanding about the material entitled Word and Meaning, which is the part of language philosophy course material. Okay, now I will explain about what is meant by word. Words are the basic building blocks of language that carry meaning. A word can stand alone and make sense, or it can be combined with other words to form sentences and phrases. For example, the word house on its own means a place where people live. But the meaning of a word often depends on the context in which it's used. The same word can mean different things depending on the sentence or situation. So, for example, the word star. If you say there are many stars in the sky tonight, you are talking about those bright objects you see at night. But if you say she is a movie star, you are referring to a famous person in the entertainment world. The word star changes its meaning based on what you are talking about. Another example is like the word book. In the sentence like, I read a book every night. Book means a set of printed pages bound together. Something or it's something you can read. But in the sentence like, I need to book a table for dinner. The word book here means to reserve or arrange something like a table at a restaurant. Another example, like the word key, also show how context changes meaning. When someone says, I lost my house key, they are talking about a small metal object used to unlock doors. But in the sentence like, the key to success is hard work, key is used metaphorically to mean something important or crucial for achieving success. Similarly, in the word like road, it can mean different things. In a sentence like, we walk along the road. Road refers to a physical path or street where people walk or drive. But in a sentence like, he is looking for a road out of his problems. Road here figuratively means a solution or a way to overcome difficulties. In another interesting example is plant. When you hear sentence like, I'm growing plants in my garden. Plants here are living organisms like flowers or tree. However, in the sentence like, the factory is a large industrial plant. Plant means a facility where products are manufactured. So, understanding the meaning of a word often requires looking at the context in which it's used. It's not enough to just know the dictionary definition of a word, but you need to consider the situation, the sentence, and how the word is being used to grasp its full meaning. This makes language rich and dynamic, allowing us to express ourselves in many different ways in various situations. Okay, now we are going to talk about meaning. What is meaning? When we talk about the meaning of a word, it's not just about what the dictionary says. Meaning is a bit like chameleon. It changes depending on a lot of different things. First, it depends on the language itself and how words are put together. For example, like the word bank can mean a place where you keep money or the edge of a river. We understand which one based on the other words around it. And then there is the cultural side. Different cultures might have unique ways of saying things that can be confusing if you are not familiar with them. For example, saying kick the bucket to mean someone has died in is a cultural idiom in English. But if you try to translate that directly into another language, it probably won't make sense. And then social context is also super important. The meaning of what you say can change based on who you are talking to and the situation you are in. Social context is also super important. The meaning of what you say can change based on who you are talking to and the situation you are in. If your friend says you are on fire during a game, they mean you are doing great. But if someone say it in an emergency, it's a serious warning. And then there's history. Words can change their meanings over time. For example, the word like gay used to mean happy, but now it primarily refers to sexual orientation, and knowing a bit of the story behind a word can help us understand why it means and what it means today. So, understanding meaning is not just about knowing the definitions of words, it's about looking at the whole picture, the situation, the people involved, and even the cultural and historical background. For example, like it's raining cats and dogs means it's raining very heavily, not literally cats and dogs falling from the sky. To really get what someone means, you often have to go beyond the surface and think about all these different factors. Meaning is flexible and can be different depending on many things, which makes language so rich and interesting. The next material is about the connection between words and meanings. So, understanding how words connect to their meaning is like figuring out a puzzle. It's not always straightforward because words are often given their meanings through agreement among people who use the language. This meaning can change based on context and how the words are used together in sentences or conversation. For example, take the word like bank. It can mean a place where you save money, like in the sentence, I need to go to the bank to deposit my paycheck. But bank can also mean the side of a river, as in sentence like, we had a picnic on the river bank, which meaning we understand depends on the context in which the word is used. Words are like flexible signs that get their meanings through how we agree to use them in different situations. This is why the same word can have different meanings in different contexts. The meaning of a word is often influenced by the words around it and the bigger picture of what's being talked about. For example, in the sentence like, he sat down on the bank. Without more context, it's unclear if he's at a financial institution or by a river. We figure it out by looking at the other words and the situation. This process is dynamic and ever-changing, influenced by how people collectively use and understand words over time. So there is not always a direct one-to-one relationship between a word and its meaning. Instead, meaning often comes from how words interact with each other within larger units of language like sentences or conversation. This makes language rich and interesting because the same word can paint different pictures depending on how and where it's used. Okay, the last material I'm going to explain about different techniques for determining word meaning. There are several handy techniques we can use to understand the meaning of a word, making it easier to communicate effectively. One of the simplest way is to look up the word in a dictionary. This gives us this gives us a basic definition and a good starting point. But often words gain more meaning from how they are used in sentences. This is where paying attention to context clues helps. For example, if you come across the word dismal in the sentence, the weather was dismal and gray. Even if you don't know what dismal means, the surrounding words suggest it's something negative about the weather. Another useful technique is breaking down the words into parts. Many words have prefixes, suffixes, or roots that can give hints about their meaning. Take the word unhappiness. If you know un, it means not, and ness turns something into a state or condition. So you can figure out it's the state of not being happy. Talking to others can also be incredibly helpful. Sometimes asking a friend or a teacher for their understanding of a word can clarify things quickly. They might explain it in a way that's easier to grasp or give example that makes sense. Lastly, online resources are a great tool. Using search engines or language forums can provide definitions, examples, and discussion that deepen your understanding. If you find a new word in a text or a conversation, you can quickly look it up online to see how it's used in different contexts. So, probably that's all from my understanding about the material called words and meanings. Thank you for your nice attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.